What is up, faithful? It is your boy Niners Sickness with another episode of the Niners Boys podcast. We have the full crew on tonight. I got my boy Pete, my boy Brandon, who I will be bringing on momentarily. Just wanted to say, we're going to talk 49er football. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about the combine. Deebo is no longer a Niner right after this.
How you play the game with the people that writing the rules? Ain't the fame that I'm after when paying the dues. I've been through the pain that's reflected in the attitude. Might be winning now, but the thing is that I had to lose. So go and tell me what you really want to do. And lonely at the top, cause there ain't a lot of room. Ain't no other option, that's all I ever knew. So I'ma get it poppin', you know how I'ma do. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat, and I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm excited to talk 49er football. Let's bring in the boys who you really came to see. My boy, Pete. What's up, Pete?
What's going on, Beto? What's going on, everybody in the chat? Happy to be here. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. We made it.
Yeah, let's keep the trend going. And last but not least, my boy, Brandon. Let's bring in him. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Beto? What's up, Pete? We here another week, another Tuesday, and we got some big news and a lot to talk about Niner football. So let's get to it.
Absolutely. Starting with that big news. Number uno is no longer a Niner. Who will wear the number one going forward? Deebo Samuel. For those that have been living underneath a tree, or a rock, they say, not a tree. Deebo Samuel was traded to the Washington Commanders during the combine, and they were able to trade him for a fifth-round pick, number 148. If you guys remember, the Niners had their fifth-round pick forfeited because of some accounting up in the management, and they lost their fifth round, so they were able to replenish that with the Deebo Samuel trade. A lot of Niner fans are upset. They're like, we wanted a third, a second, a fourth, and realistically, I'm going to bring in Pete in a minute to give his point and his take. But realistically, I don't think the Niners would have gotten a 2 or a 3 for Deebo. Deebo's, yes, he's 29. He's not that old. But he has a lot of wear and tear on those tires because of the type of football that he plays. And he's not always in the best shape of his career with us. So it was time to move on. He wanted to move on. The Niners granted that. Deebo posted on his IG that he was very grateful, very loving of the Niners, had nothing but positive things to speak about the Niners. And John Lynch and Kyle. So that just is a reminder of a wonderful organization we have in San Francisco with our management and our coaches. Pete, did we get too little, just enough, or not good enough for the trade of Mr. Deebo Samuel, in your opinion?
I mean, I think they got what they could get. Like the reality is that Deebo was probably at his lowest for as far as trade value. His numbers were not good last year, to say the least. They weren't what they had been in the past. And yeah, I mean, I think they got what they could get now. I mean, it's a whole different story if you're telling me that it's a successful trade because they're still going to have to take the cap hit regardless. And that that is just a bona fide mistake. That was a mistake on their part. So it was a bad, and I mean, it was almost an egregious mistake because a lot of people saw the writing on the wall that they were going to have to move off of one of these guys this year. They thought they were going to move off of him last year, but then they restructured his deal, which just locked in more dead cap money, and yeah, it is what it is. So but I think they got what they could get.
Yeah, I think it was more a Deebo wanting to move on than the Niners at this point.
Oh,
because
did
if
you
it was
hear-
the
Did you hear that they said that the rumor is that he had asked for a trade by it was like in mid seat by December.
yeah,
He had asked for a trade by December. So he had already knew that he didn't want to be there anymore, which is just wild. You restructured your deal.
yeah, I think
But-
it was more the Niners being who the Niners are and granting the players they like. Kyle really likes Deebo. And just the fact that Deebo, and I'll pass it to you in a minute, Brandon, just the fact that Deebo was very appreciative of the Niners and the front office, and he said thank you on his GM. I will always have love for the 49ers. I always have love for Kyle and John. It tells me that he wanted to leave. He changed his mind or whatever when they restructure. Maybe he said, I want to be here for a long time. Then he changed his mind. He wanted to move on. The fact that the Niners granted him to go and speak to other teams to eventually move on, they did him a solid. They didn't have to. And even though we are biting a big part of the pie when it comes to dead money, the Niners can afford it. Doesn't mean that they should spend it, but they can definitely afford to take that cap hit right now because they carry money. They carry the money over from last year. I would say the salary cap went up and it continues to go up. So they can afford it to do it. But they wanted a pick. They didn't want to just cut them. And they got a 5th round pick. They got their 5th plus the 5th that they got from the Commanders was originally the Saints pick. So it's a high 5th, not a low 5th, which is higher than the Niners would originally had that they forfeited because of the financials they had there. So overall, I think that both teams won. Deebo wanted to move on, and the Niners let him go, and we got a 5th. And long as we can address that 5th and get a good player, because let's be honest, if we don't get a good player with that 5th, this conversation will be talked about. If we get a player that really is a standout years to come, the Deebo situation will be forgotten quick. With that said, Brandon, what are your thoughts of the trade? Getting a 5th, is it too much? Too little? What are your thoughts?
No, well, I thought it was when I first heard about the news, I thought it was a little too low for my picking for Deebo Samuel. Then I thought about it as the day went on, and I was like, well, he's been digressing the past couple of years. He's not the same guy that we've known like the 2019 and 2021 Deebo, right? And he's been gaining weight like we've been talking about literally all season last year. And I was fine with it. And then I heard that basically it's a high pick, like you said, Beto, 5th round pick, because originally the Commanders got this pick from the Saints. So, and we usually get pretty good players in the 5th round. So,
Yeah, Kittle, Greenlaw.
prime example, Kittle,
Yeah.
and Greenlaw, yeah. So, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it was time. We already knew that it was time for Deebo to go. We literally talked about it towards the end of the season last season, and we couldn't keep both guys. We couldn't keep both Ayuk and Deebo on this roster, especially with the salary and everything like that. So it was time. It is what it is. Good luck to Deebo. I wish him nothing but the best, and I appreciate him all that he did since he's been here with the team. So
Yeah, I appreciate him too. But if you think about it, Brandon and Pete, Deebo only out of the years that he's been here since 2019, he only had a one good year, 2021. And all the other years he was serviceable here and there, but he wasn't like elite. No, he wasn't elite type of receiver. But before we continue on, let's take a moment to recognize and welcome everybody in the chat one by one real quick. We got 49ers Throwback in the house. What's up, 49ers Throwback? We got Jimmy in the house. What's up, Jimmy? We got Tim Diaz in the house. What's up, Tim? We got East Cold Red and Gold podcast
What's
in
up,
the house.
Jess?
What's up, Jess? We got Crazy Guy, El Vato Loco, coming in. Welcome, sir. Welcome. We got Daniel Burry Sports Highlights in the house. What's up, brother? And we got, let's see here, who else do we got in here? Someone different. No, let go of that year. We got my boy, Maverick, in that casa. What's up, Maverick? And let's see. We got the one and only, the guy, the myth, the legend, Tommy Huxley's in the house. What's up, brother? And who else? That's about it. Everyone, welcome to the show. The show is nothing without you guys. You guys make the show. You guys are the MVP. And for that, we give you guys a hand applause, thanking you for being here tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. So we've been talking about Deebo Samuel no longer being a Niner. He's moving on to the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to be a little bit better offensively with Daniel's second year as a quarterback, having Deebo and Scary. I keep forgetting his name. The other receiver there. They're going to be.
Or you're talking about on the Washington team.
Yeah, the Commanders.
Oh,
the
Scary
starter.
Terry.
Scary Terry. There you
Scary
go.
Terry.
I got the scary part right. I forgot Terry. But Scary Terry's there. You got Deebo. It's going to be a number two, a compliment to that. I do wish Deebo the best. I'm not the type of fan that hates on someone because they leave. He had his reasons. The 49ers honored it. We move on. Sitting here talking about, I wish Deebo gets hurt, or I wish Deebo doesn't play good, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm not that type of cat. I'm the type of person, wish him the best. Thank you for your services here. You did what you did, and it's about to move on. And I wish him the best. He was a red and gold 49er, and I do wish him the best there with the Commanders, unless they are playing us in the playoffs. Then all bets are off. We are not wishing him at all the best. But until then, we are good. We are good. Pete.
Yes, sir.
We got a Uke left. We got Joanne Jennings. We got Ricky Parcell that we still don't know. We got glimpses of what he can be, but he hasn't proven anything yet, in my opinion. So now, what are your thoughts in the receiving room? And then there's also rumors that the Niners are trying to move on from Ayuk. I want to get your take about this, your own feeling. Nobody has to agree with you or disagree, but what are your thoughts on the whole, now Ayuk, they're trying to move, they moved on from Deebo, now they're trying to move from Ayuk. If that is successfully done, what are the Niners doing in your opinion?
The only thing I can think of is that they are recalibrating for the Purdy era. They know they're going to pay Purdy a lot. They know it's going to restrict what they can do. With that IU contract, it probably restricted more of what they can do. Even with them carrying over cap space from the previous year, it's still going to restrict them from what they can do because they're still playing, and maybe they're thinking about restructuring not restructuring, re-signing Kittle. There's a couple of other. The rumor is they want to give Greenlaw a 1-year prove-it deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's a lot. There's a lot, and there's a lot of guys about to be up for re-signing. They've got to make decisions on whether they want to start over and start the Purdy era, or they're going to keep trying to go all in. And I think with Deebo leaving, with them shopping Ayuk around, I think that screams to me that they're kind of thinking it's almost like they want to recalibrate to kind of start the clock over. And I don't necessarily agree with it. I really don't. It doesn't really make sense because you signed him last year. That you're basically saying by shopping Ayuk this year, you're basically saying that you completely made a mistake by re-signing him last year.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
by trading Deebo this year, you said that you made a mistake of restructuring him last year. Like this is a lot of mistakes for a team. Like, and I think that it's going to be really hard for them to overcome cap wise. I think they're just messing. They've messed their cap up pretty bad, in my opinion. And I don't really agree with a lot of the moves. I think Ayuk is a very good player. I think he could really him and Pearsall. You could develop Pearsall. If you've got to draft another guy, you've still got Jawan Jennings. I would go ahead and, with Deebo being gone, I think I would go ahead and try and re-sign Jawan Jennings and get the talks moving now on that. Yeah,
They're
I
also
think that
talking
they'd be
about
that. I think that would be a serviceable group. I think that would be a serviceable group for most NFL teams. So I just don't get it. I'll be honest. It doesn't. What they're doing, they over the past 3 or 4 years, they've been doing a bunch of things that don't make sense for any traditional NFL team, and we've made the excuses for them because they had been winning. But now we're getting to a point where they're coming off a losing season. They made an obvious mistake restructuring Deebo. Now they're almost admitting that they made a mistake by re-signing Ayuk. What next? And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like it's created a lot of uncertainty, I would say at the least.
Mic drop. My boy P dropping the mic. I love it. Your thoughts, Brandon? Your thoughts on the situation? If you can tailor off of what Pete said, what are your thoughts? And when I ask you, because I know that Pete answered the question, but I want to get your personal thoughts, because we are all fanatics of the Niners. We love the Niners, but we are individual people that have our own take and our own feelings about the team. So what are your thoughts on the Ayuk possibly not being here either? And are we starting over again? Are we rebuilding? What are we doing? What's your thoughts, Brandon?
It's kind of funny. It does kind of seem like we're rebuilding, right? So, I agree with Pete, though. It's like if they're talking about trying to trade Ayuk, it's not going to happen, for one. And two, nobody's going to want to take on that contract. If they really wanted to trade him, they should have done it last year, or even just franchise tagged him, right, last year. And we would have been able to trade him this offseason like they want to. To me personally, it does kind of feel like a rebuild. But I'm also still not worried. I think we could still have a winning season this next season, even if we don't have Deebo or Ayuk. They're also talking about bringing up, is it Tyreek? Is the first name?
Oh,
Terrell's son.
Terrell. Yeah, somebody said Jerry's, but I think they meant to say Terrell's son. Because
Yeah,
Jerry's son's not on the
son.
team.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they're saying that they've seen good glimpses of Owens.
They still got
In
Jacob
practice
Counting
and all.
too.
Yeah, Jacob Counting as well. Yeah, I mean, and think about it too, guys. We still have George Kittle, and we still have Jennings. We still have Pearsall, like you said, Beto and McCaffrey. I have a good feeling that McCaffrey is going to bounce back this season. But we'll see. But yeah, I think kind of like Pete said, like I think they kind of noticed this offseason that they kind of fucked up their cap. And this is why they're doing all this stuff, because they're stuck in the middle, and they're like, shit, how do we get out of this now? And they already did it with Deebo, with trading him away and taking that salary away. But now they're talking about Ayuk with his new deal, and I don't think it's gonna happen, guys. I really don't. I don't think anybody wants to take on that contract.
For Ayuk, as far as Ayuk goes, real quick, I think that makes him more tradable, to be honest. Like the 49ers wouldn't get back what they wanted. They're not going to get back what they want for him, but the reality is there's a lot of teams that would love to trade for Ayuk, because the 49ers are going to end up having to take a majority of that cap hit. Like they're going to have to pay out all his guaranteed money, and they're going to be the ones eating crow, while the other team only has to pay him his base salary.
But I also got to bring up too is, do teams still want Ayuk even coming off this ACL injury?
There are always desperate teams out there.
They're getting him for cheap. You might as well take a chance on a guy that was an All Pro. There's teams, guys come off of ACLs all the time.
Yeah, ACLs are not like what it used to be.
Yeah,
especially he's young. He's young. Listen, I understand that they will still have to take his yearly what he's owed this year, but the Niners would have to bite on the dead cap as well.
Be a huge.
I don't think the Niners really cared about Ayuk's antics last year. I think they kind of was forced to sign him. I don't think they were getting what they wanted for him from the right team. I don't think they liked his antics where, because the same amount of money that the Niners paid him, they had offered them way back in August. Nothing really changed. It's not like, they offered him so much in August and then they upped it when they signed him. It was really similar to what they offered him. And the fact that he didn't sign, he missed a lot of training camp. He missed. He wasn't in shape for the season. It affected him, and then he gets hurt. I think that a lot of that could have been avoidable if he would have just signed and been there from day one. I understand we don't have no control over injuries. Injuries happen at any time, but I think if you're in camp and you're working out, you have a better chance of not getting hurt. As it comes to the financials, I'm not a financial guru, but I have been looking at their account. I don't think they're in a financial situation. I think they've been handling the finances very well. I think they're prepared to pay Brock Purdy what they're going to pay him. They moved on from Deebo because Deebo wanted to move on, and they were willing to take on that dead money because they had the money to do it. And the whole thing with Ayuk, they didn't want to pay him. And then he gets hurt. And the Niners are just ready to move on from him. If the right team comes, I think the Niners, if they offered him a 2 and a second and a 3 for Ayuk, the Niners would jump on it.
Oh, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Coming off an injury, they're not going to trade him for that.
Yeah, they're not going to take nothing less than a 2, bro. No way. Even with an injury.
Then he's not getting traded.
Then he'll be on this roster. He'll be on this roster, which is either good. It's still good for us because I don't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But that's a $39 million. I'm looking at it right now. That's another $39 million dead cap hit if they get rid of him. I cannot.
But if they pay that today,
$70 million dead cap hit.
Yeah, but if they pay that off this year, how much of that is next year? 0.
But how do you fill out the roster? They've still got to fill out the roster.
They carried over $50 million from last year.
Okay, $50 million. They still, how many guys are actually on the roster under contract? They've still got to sign all their guys. There was a bunch of guys that are not under contract.
Yeah, the Niners are not going to move on from Ayuk and pay that debt money unless they get what they feel
They're
that
going to
is fair price
restructure a lot
for
of
him.
contracts.
Remember, Ayuk's contract is completely different from Deebo. Deebo, they got a fifth. They just wanted to move on. Fine. Ayuk is a whole different story. I understand you don't think that the team author will give him a 2 or a 3, 2 and a 3, not just a 2 or a 3. Then they'll decide to keep him because to me, if the Niners are going to pay that debt money, it has to be worth them with a pick. They have to get a good pick where they feel, okay, we got a very good pick for you. We'll pay that dead money and we'll move on. I doubt if they move on for a fourth pick or a third pick for you and then pay that dead money. I don't think the Niners are that dumb to do something like that. I think that they're pretty. I mean, they have never stirred me wrong in the faith in what's his name, their financial guy. I can't think of his name. Prague, yeah. He's never did anything in the last few years with our guys to make me feel that they screwed up. They don't know what they're doing. They're always looking ahead. Like I said, Deebo's money they're gonna have to pay that $31 million dead cap, which is true. But next year we're clean. We're done. We don't have to worry about nothing with Deebo. And if they have the extra money now, it's like when you get a big lump sum of money, some people pay off their house, some people pay off their cars, so they don't have to worry about the rest of the years. I think that's what they're doing with Deebo. Excuse me, they're paying the big lump sum now, so they don't have to worry about it tomorrow. In my opinion.
So here's my issue. Here's my issue with it is that you're losing Deebo, which. Say what you want. Say what you want, and like I'm not gonna pretend like I was expecting them to get rid of Deebo. I was expecting them not to restructure last year because they had an out this year, and like I was expecting them to get rid. I shouldn't say get rid of.
No, I know what you
I was
mean.
expecting him to not be on the team this season, and I knew that was what the Pearsall pick. I figured that's what the Pearsall pick was all along. But at the same time, they've got to replace the vacuum of him being on the team. With re-signing Purdy, with you lose Deebo with his dead cap hit, and then you've got Ayuk's not going to be ready week 1. That's not going to happen. He's not going to be ready. I know that they say, and then it's going to be really difficult to bring in anyone of consequence early on, onto this team, to make any difference. There's not going to be any difference makers brought on this in this offseason. They've got to re-sign Purdy. With that, it's going to have to be like a draft pick or something, and I don't think they're even going to draft a wide receiver until probably later in the later rounds. So I would be shocked if they did. But I just think that it's a weird situation. It's a weird situation. I think that they're in more trouble than and I agree with what I love the way Parag structures his contracts. The issue is the decision making that Kyle and Lynch had about restructuring deals to stretch money, and now and the guys that you're picking to restructure. Because now here we are. We made this guy a captain, and then he asked for a trade the next season. I just feel like they need to take away. And maybe this is controversial. I don't know, but I think they need to get Kyle away from making decisions about the roster altogether. In my opinion, I think he needs to be removed from all that. Just focus on the game. And the game plan and the offense, but you need to be the reins need to be. You need to be out of the room when we're making decisions about this roster, because I think he gets too close to the players, and I think that he gets, and I think he just he gets involved, and I think he muddies the waters.
The problem with, and I hear you. The problem with that is Kyle holds the cards. If John Lynch was truly a general manager that ran the show, and Kyle had answer to John, because we know Jed York is not going to, do bark. He has a little bite, like a little chihuahua bite. He don't have a pit bull bark. So Kyle says one thing and Jed says, okay. The fact is, Kyle has that leverage. He has that authority. So I get what you're saying, and you make a solid point when it comes to that, but that's not going to happen as long as Kyle is a Niner, because they're not going to remove that from him. And he's going to continue to control the roster. John Lynch, he trusts John Lynch. John Lynch gives a lot of his input, but we all know when decisions are made, it's because Kyle wants it that way. He just takes John's opinions, and then John can be the face as a general manager, but Kyle runs the show there in Santa Clara. Real quick, before I pass it to Brandon, Deebo's gone. I've been looking at a little bit of prospects in college. This kid that I have up here, and I just want to give a shout out to our SF 49ers, Raj, for putting this together. I got this from him, so I want to give him where credit is due. So, Raj, thank you for these that I'm going to be sharing today. I took them from him. This kid from TCU, wide receiver, Savion Williams. I don't know if you guys have watched tape on him or not. I have. He's 6'5". This kid is special. He does a lot what what Deebo did for us in 2021, but he's a bigger frame, a bigger body. Have you guys seen tape on this kid? And whoever, I'm going to ask you first, Pete. Well, actually, you just spoke. So, Brandon, have you seen tape? What's his name? Savion.
What's
Savion.
Okay.
And then Williams from TCU. Yes. You watch tape on this kid, and it's just amazing. Anybody that, yes, Raji is a legend, Kenny. I love Raj, and I love to give people credit for the stuff they do. I am never one to steal somebody's thing and then try to act like it's mine. So credit to Raj and the RSF 49ers for doing a great job. And a lot of people out there, I just happen to choose his, but a lot of them do great work. And Brandon does his share of his postings up there, updates as well. So keep an eye for Brandon when he posts on X. So, Brandon, as Peter looks it up, have you looked this kid up? Have you heard about this kid? Any thoughts?
I actually have not. I gotta start getting more into college ball, man. To be able
it's okay.
To see
You're
what
probably busy, bro. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm a football junkie. I love watching film. I like breaking down film. I study film. I study college, and I'm just a junkie when it comes to that. So I'm retired, don't have a life, married. Not that marriage makes me not have a life. I don't want to sound like that, but
What's up, Rod?
Pete's laughing because he knows exactly what I mean. I'm just trying to stay off the couch, guys. So I have to make sure I correct that real quick in case the missus watches this video. But marriage is great. Love marriage. I encourage marriage, by the way. But I like to study film, and I broke down some prospects that I watched. And this one guy here, I think it would be a great. The kid from Iowa State, crazy. I'm trying to think of his name at the moment. I like him too, but he's 5'10". He's a small guy, 5'10", small frame. He's a slot receiver. I want a big body guy.
Yeah, I'm looking at some highlights right now. He's actually pretty good. He got some speed too.
So,
what's up, Rod?
My first impression is he's not a Kyle guy.
No, he isn't.
Yeah, definitely
not a Kyle guy.
Definitely not.
So,
But he can be used. But Kyle's system is changing a little bit, if you notice.
but he has a specific type of receiver that he likes. And like
the kid from Iowa State is more the type of receiver he likes. If I can be honest with you, I got to look up his name.
He has a specific guy, and there's specific like measurements at the combine that he looks at. Like the short shuttle is like his main his main statistic that he loves to think at his drill that he loves to. You can almost book it like that. They're going to talk to the guys that have the good short shuttle numbers, but he's a guy that I like. This is the type of guy that I've always wanted the 49ers to have in their offense, but they never pick this type of guy.
Yeah.
Like because he almost sounds like and not to this level, but he almost sounds like DK. When I picture, I haven't even looked at the tape yet, but the way they describe him, it almost sounds like DK, and it's what's it called? Obviously, he doesn't have the same size, but it's the same type guy. And I was hoping that the 49ers got DK that one year. I was kind of upset that they drafted Deebo, and then I was happy about it later. but then I was mad about it again later. But yeah, it is what it is. Kyle just doesn't like that type of receiver.
Yeah. I hear hold on real quick. The kid that people are talking about is Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins from Iowa State is more of a Kyle guy. If you guys want to take a look at his name, Jaden, Jayden Higgins.
Check out Jalen Noel too.
Jalen Noel, that's the other kid from the same school.
Yeah,
but he's more like a third rounder type of receiver. This guy will be Higgins will be taken in the second round for sure.
Yeah, they better not be taking any receivers in the second round.
No, that's why I don't expect Higgins to be one of them. The one that Brandon mentioned, Knowles, I can see that one happening because later in the third, or the kid that I have up here on the screen, this guy's projected to go in the third round as well. Yeah. I think the Niners need to focus offensive line, defensive line with those two first picks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, man, like I would nothing but trenches to like the fifth round. Like if I was the 49ers, and that goes offensive, defensive side as well. This draft it looks like it's going to be kind of deep as far as that's concerned. And like, I feel like this is a prime time to get some beef on both sides of the line, but we'll see. They'll probably pick a fullback or
no, bro, come on,
or another kicker.
Yeah, you know what? The fullback, I'll say no confidently. A kicker, I can't argue that point, P, because, yeah. Let's go. The first one that we took with the third round, let's go for another one. Let's see if this one works.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's go over the guys real quick of the Niners have interviewed. These are guys that the Niners have interviewed, and they show interest in. We got a D tackle, the kid from Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. Now, I've been hearing a lot of things. I watched some of his film. I'm impressed. There's some areas that he can do better, in my opinion. A lot of people think he might be a bust. That we don't know that. I mean, even when Javon Kinlaw got drafted, he became a bust. He is a bust. And I think Javon Kinlaw is more of a victim of where he got drafted. I think if Javon Kinlaw would have been drafted in the 5th round, he would have been okay. I think the fact that we took him in the first round at 17 is what hurt Kinlaw, and he was not able to live that, in my personal opinion, who was not able to live to that expectation of a 17th pick overall in the first round. You take him in the 3rd, 4th, or even 5th, and we don't have that problem. So anyway, I'm going to bring you guys real quick. You guys can let me know afterwards what your thoughts on them. We got another one to interview. I can't pronounce it, from UCLA. You guys want to take a crack at it? Alafimi. Yeah, I'm not pronouncing it.
Hold on. Let me find it. Olawafemi Oladejo.
There you go. Hey, there's my boy Pete. Correctamundo. All right, he's a pass rusher. Then we got the kid from Michigan. He is a tight end. Cluston Loveland.
That'd be a 5th rounder right
Go
there.
Blue.
What's up, David McNiner? Welcome to the
show.
That'd
be a what rounder?
What's up, Don?
No, he's going second rounder.
Yeah.
At
I'll be surprised if he goes on the 3rd.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if somebody doesn't go up and get him in the bottom of the 1st.
I agree.
I'm saying like for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could
no,
see.
we don't need a tight end that bad, that fast. But yeah, he's.
Yeah.
And then this kid right here out of Michigan, another called Blue for Mr. Pete. You know, you're familiar with this kid, so let us know a little bit about him, Brandon. Pete. Will Johnson. They're saying he's the second best corner behind Hunter.
And they win in different they're good in different ways. They're completely different players.
I love that you said that because that is so true, Pete.
Yeah, like Hunter is just an athletic freak. Like he wins because he almost lets guys go. He baits guys in because he lets them think that they get by him, and then he just recovers with his speed, and he just dominates physically. Like it's never a good idea to go to his side just because because you just don't know. Like his catch up speed is just so ridiculous. He's just moving on a different level. Will, on the other hand, is a technician, and he is not as physically gifted as Hunter. But that's not to say that he's not physically gifted. He is physically gifted. He has size. He has length. He has and he has speed, but he has technique and very smart player. I think he's played in Michigan. He played both. Like he can do both. He can do man or play man, or he's kind of like a combo corner. He plays man and the zone well. And he can play press.
Yes.
So I think, and he's a real physical player. So I really like Will Johnson. I would have no problem at all if we say he is the only player that I would say, other than a trench player, that I would say it was okay for the 49ers to draft in the first round.
At 11. I got you.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's the only player. Anybody else that they drafted 11 better be some kind of offensive line or defensive lineman.
I agree with you 100%. Pete, I love that. I agree that 100%.
Booyah!
This guy is special. I watched tape on him, and I wanted you to give your insight because I know you're a Wolverine fan and you watch your Blue. But this kid is special. This kid I love the way he presses. You can use him anywhere on that field, and he doesn't get burned easy, man. This kid he's not as athletic as Hunter is, but he's right. I mean, this kid. I would love to take him. Now, I don't think we're going to take him at 11 because we have more present needs. But I'm with you, Pete. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, oh my God, what are the? I would be like, all right.
I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
I could, because he would be your and I love Deebo, right? But
Deebo be
he would
inside.
be your number one. He would be your number one corner for for the future.
Honestly, I'd say yeah, he could be the replacement from Ward.
Oh, definitely he'll be.
Deebo they're going to use Deebo in Ward's capacity next year, but I could totally see him taking over the Deebo role, of having that, of being on the other side, taking the number 2 wide receiver until he's ready.
Yeah.
I would see like a year. And then I think at that second year, he's probably going to have it. He's probably going to show flashes his first year because he's so technically sound that I think he's just ready to go. And,
I will see him be number 1, Ronaldo Green number 2, and then I would love to have Deebo where he's good outside, inside, and he'll move inside. And imagine those 3 as your corners, and then you got Mustafa, who's going to have which is a freak himself. My goodness, that secondary is going to be
free safety.
And remember, secondary complements the front 4. The longer the quarterback has to hold the ball, because these corners are draped up on top of the receiver, the better chances that a not so great, maybe older Leonard Floyd type of rusher can get to the quarterback, because the quarterback is not getting rid of it that quick. And when you have great corners, they can shadow the receivers. You give your rushers an opportunity. So I always felt rushers complement the secondary, and the secondary complements the pass rushers. And I would love to see this kid. Any thoughts on him before we move on, Brandon?
No, I'm with Pete on this one. That he would be a nice draft pick for sure for us.
Yeah, he'll be next. All right, so this is the kid that I mentioned, the receiver. So now we have running back, and this is for later rounds. With Kyle, you never know though. You never know with Kyle. But the Niners formerly met with Iowa running back Caleb Johnson. You guys seen any tape or heard anything? I watched a little bit of tape. I don't watch a lot of tape on running backs, to be honest with you. I do, but that's the least position that I watch tapes on. I like to watch tapes on more needs that Niners have that are going to start right off the bat than a running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So have you guys watched tape on him or know anything?
I haven't. I saw his combine performance because I heard he had a really good.
Yeah, he had a good combine.
He had a really good combine. So he's obviously a very twitchy guy, very very athletic guy. I'd have to watch more because I'm really not looking at running backs right now.
Yeah, neither am I.
I'm trying to.
You gotta go.
I know that they're probably gonna get a running back.
Oh, that's certain.
Probably way in the later rounds though, probably.
But I'm hoping I'm hoping that they identify like an undrafted guy, like they did with Mason. That's what I'm hoping for because you still got who knows they're going to tender Mason somehow because they're going to want some kind of return on him if somebody does want to come and take him. But so that leaves you with him, Garendo, and CMC. I'm interested to find out what they felt about Abanaconda, like that they brought in late last year.
Yeah.
Like because he was a guy that I liked in his coming out in his draft. He was just buried on the depth chart and on the Jets. So I'd be interested to see what they feel about him. So I think the 49ers are pretty. I could see them bringing in another undrafted guy. I don't see them using up draft capital on a running back. But who knows?
I would hope not.
It is Kyle.
Exactly. You know, Kyle. He tries. You know, Kyle. Something about running backs with Kyle, and his dad was always successful of making good running backs from undrafted running backs. So I don't understand the whole drafting. But this kid here, another receiver from Ole Miss, they met with Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. Great player. I don't have his measurements. I should have wrote that in there too, but I just copied. I was lazy. She got his measurements to kind of fill you guys in with that. But you guys can look up the name and see for yourselves. I've heard I haven't really watched tape on him yet, but I heard a lot of great things about him. We'll see. But the Niners are definitely looking for a receiver now more than ever. Now that Deebo moved on. And even though they have the two guys we drafted last year, they still need to pick up another one for sure. Who else?
He low-key kind of.
What did you think of? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying he kind of reminds me of Pearsall a little bit. I don't know.
Pearsall? This kid right here?
Yeah. I'm looking at his highlights right now.
Oh, okay. Then we got this kid from Louisville, defensive back Quincy Riley, who ran a 4.49 at the combine. Pretty good guy. And I'm just, because of the time, I'm just going to go a little bit through these. Then we went ahead and interviewed with LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell. Now, Will Campbell is going to probably won't be there by 11. So if this is a guy that the Niners are interested in, the options, in my personal opinion, is moving up to get him. I don't think he'll reach 11, but we shall see. But they meet with him. This kid, I like. I watched tape. I like this kid. And he was great in the combine. Armand Membu from Missouri.
Yeah.
This kid was off the charts on the combine. Tackle, big boy. Missouri doesn't put out a lot of great players, but here and there they do. Remember Alden Smith out of Missouri. I think this kid is special. The fact that they met with him was interesting. Now, with the thing with the Niners, a lot of times don't take for gold that the Niners meet with these players. It's the ones they don't meet with. It's the ones that went up taking. They're like the smoke and mirrors.
It's the ones that you find out later that they met with.
Yes.
Like secretly.
Yes.
And like because Steph Sanchez, big up to Steph Sanchez.
Shout out to Steph.
She does a tremendous job of tracking all of the people that the
Yes, she
49ers
does.
meet with. And she writes down the day that they met with them. Was it a formal? Was it an informal? She puts all the 40 times, all their measurements, like from the combine. She puts like what school they're from, like what she puts it all out there for you.
Yeah,
so make sure
she's amazing.
Steph's draft chart. She's awesome.
Let's give her a hand of applause, man, because she deserves it. She puts in the work. I
do want to mention, because I'm just looking at her draft chart right now, and most of the guys that I put in my mock draft are in here.
Right on. Right on.
Like,
booyah!
What's it called? Mason Taylor's in here, that tight end that I was talking about from LSU. And Zy Alexander, that corner that I was talking about from LSU.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of people in here, regardless. But that they did meet with that Cam Scatabo.
Yes, he's in here. Yeah. So this other kid from Texas, offensive tackle Kevin Banks Jr. They met with. They met Josh Simmons. The kid, I think this kid is special. He's been hurt. He got hurt. He's coming back from an injury. If he's cleared, I think this kid would have went top 4, top 5 if it wasn't for his injury. If the Niners can get him at 11, that would be great. That's the other school.
Which one?
Josh Simmons from your other best school. Yeah, you know that school you like. You know that school you like.
Yeah, whatever. Like I hate like if you know what, I would like Josh Simmons. I like him as a player. I just think that you're not going to want to bring in a guy that you don't know is going to be ready for OTAs. And like I think that the 49ers, whoever they draft in the first round, needs to hit the ground running. There can't be setbacks this year. There cannot be setbacks this year. That's why I'm looking at that Armand Membo and Kelvin Banks is really the one that I want.
Really? The Longhorn?
Yeah, that's like just because he's very athletic. He has all the length. He has all the measurables. Membo
I watched
has
it. He puts people down. That guy is.
Yeah, he has shorter. Membo has shorter arms.
Yes.
He has sub 34 arms. So like I can't.
What is the Longhorn? What is this?
What is his measurables?
Is he at 36?
I didn't even look. Like
I think 36 vertical.
Yeah, it was some crazy vertical.
Yeah.
It was a crazy vertical, but like now I gotta look. Now I gotta look it up. Kelvin Banks.
And then as you look for that, I'll mention other players. We have Isaiah Bond out of Texas, another Longhorn, a receiver that the Niners formerly met. What is his reach? Pete, would you guys stop it? For junior.
Oh, Kelvin Banks has only got 33.5-inch arms.
Oh, wow. Small. So Mambu has longer reach.
That's not the way it looks like on tape. But,
no, but that's short.
but that's kind of short. I don't know if he would be able to be a tackle.
Would you guys stop? So we got the receiver Isaiah Bond. I heard a lot of good things about Isaiah, and people in the chat, feel free to comment about these players, your thoughts. And then we got running back. Here it is, and he's a Bay Area kid. Cam Scatebo. How do you pronounce that? Deebo. Scatabo. Okay, Scatabo. Boy, I read that wrong. I need to go back to school. Scatabo. Local kid, Bay Area local kid.
He's tiny though.
Is he?
Yeah,
and
he's
then
tiny.
we got a teleprompter. If you guys, no, just kidding. All right.
Oh,
so
they have the exact same arm length. Both of
do
them are
they?
33.5 inch.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. So out of the guys that we
Interesting.
look, so if the Niners do take an offensive tackle, guys, I'll start with you, Brandon, and then Pete. Who's your pick, Brandon? Out of the guys that are available there, who would you be more interested in and why?
Um, I like the guy from the Ohio State.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah, I think he could be a fit in our on our line and help us out as Pooney did this past year. Um, I just at the end of the day, guys, we need to draft some type of offensive tackle because we need help majorly on that line, and after signing Purdy to a new contract, we definitely
We
got
got
to
to
protect
protect
him.
your investment, right?
Exactly.
What's the point
So
of signing him for all that money just for him to get hurt?
exactly.
So I am with you. So the guys that are available at 11, Josh Simmons. I'm going to mention the offensive guys because that's who I asked. Josh Simmons, Kevin Banks Jr. You got who else do we have in here? Gray Sybil. That is pretty much it. And then I guess I can throw the edge rushers too because there's not that many tackles. And then Armand Membu. You got James Pierce Jr., Tennessee pass rusher. You got Mike Green for Marshall, pass rusher. But I've been hearing some off the field things with him. I don't know. I haven't read too much about him, but and then you have, if you guys want to look at some inside guys, there's Kenneth Grant from Michigan. That's your school, so I know you know about him. You got Derek Harmon,
That was my
Oregon
number one
Duck.
pick.
That's your number one pick?
Yep.
That was my remember in last
Oh,
week's.
that's right. That's right. And you know what?
But I mean, it's going to change with the as the combine gets, and
Oh,
then
of
as we
course.
get the pro day
In free
numbers,
agency.
everything's gonna shift around, and so.
Oh yeah, we can assume now, and then here comes free agency March 12th, and everything changes. The Niners pick up, like they pick up a center, like kid from Atlanta, or they pick up this, or they pick up that, and now we're looking at the draft completely different. So I am
49ers
with you
didn't
there.
meet with. They haven't met with one center. I'm
Unless they're
looking
going
up
to
and
really
down the
push for the kid from Atlanta.
That kind of tells me where their thought process is going. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. Let's just be real.
No,
Like,
that is.
but
I was going to say, yeah, yeah.
but I mean, there's a long way to go to the draft. But at the same time, it's they've talked to a lot of people, and
Mhm.
they haven't talked to one center, from what I can see. That's kind of weird.
That is kind of weird.
So it's I guess that kind of tells you either they're gonna ride with Brendel or they already have somebody in mind in free agency. That's what I
Yeah.
would think.
Yeah, I
But
think
who
they're
knows?
going to look. And don't be surprised they talk to a couple of centers that we don't know about. Like I
Exactly.
said,
Hey, also too, just to put this out there, I've also heard that they're shopping Hargrave
who
as
is?
Oh
well.
yeah, he's gone. We all know.
The
who's
Niners.
Who? No, they're not shopping them, bro. They're cutting them on June
they go.
1st, before June 1st. June 1st. Yeah, June 1st. June
Joe
1st. Yeah,
No,
Kung Fu.
but I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that they're also shopping him too if they could get a trade.
Yeah,
But-
if they can get a trade, but they were dumb enough to put out the information about
Come on, Pete.
all of it,
Yeah.
and and that just tells teams that you're gonna get rid of him.
Yep.
So
Right.
So I mean, why am I going to give you compensation unless there's going to be a bidding war for him, which there isn't.
Right.
And let's be real. What's his name from Adam Peters did us a favor by giving us a fifth round for Deebo. If no, I think teams are going to wait to see if the Niners are going to cut Deebo, and I think the Niners would have cut Deebo. Ayuk won't be cut, obviously, but Deebo probably there were chances he could have been cut, and teams were waiting, and the Commanders jumped on top of it. The relationship between John Lynch and Adam Peters is amazing, and they worked it out. Now, I also heard that during the conversations at the combine for Deebo, Allen, their defensive tackle from Washington, was in the mix, but the Niners did not want to take on that contract. I think they feel that there's so many good D tackles in the draft that why are you going to get rid of one player to get rid of and then bring in another hefty contract? So, to me personally, if the Niners bring in a major contract in free agency, it would have to be at center. And that kid from Atlanta, if they're going to invest, a young guy. And real quick, before we get off there, now let me say hi to Gammon. Gammon Brown, what's up, brother?
Oh, what up? What up, Gaiman?
How you doing,
time
sir?
no see,
My boy Gammon is in the house. Let's not ask the faithful. Let's not ask the Niners to bring Davante Adams. We do not want Davante Adams on this team. At least I don't.
Yeah,
I do not want to overpay for a guy that is about to retire. He's not the same Davante Adams that he was 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring him in for the minimum, which he's not going to go for, then I will be okay. But the guy's going to demand a payday, and I don't think the Niners need to do that, me personally. So that's my thoughts on Davante Adams. He's not the same guy that he was, and a lot of Niner fans sometimes they go based on the name of who he was. Oh my God, Davante Adams was cut by the Jets. There was a reason why he was cut. Okay, maybe Aaron Rodgers didn't work out there, but if Davante Adams was such a great receiver now, I don't see why they will cut, him. What does he got to do with Rodgers? So the fact that
I think he's still a good receiver. I don't know that he's a fit for the 49ers.
But I'm thinking money wise. Yeah, he's still a good receiver, but the money, I mean, the Jets saved $30 million cutting him, which is a lot. How much do you think he's going to demand whatever team he goes to? 15?
Well, I mean, he's getting up there now. I can't imagine that he's going to want any significant. It's going to be significant money at this point. But there's going to be somebody that's willing to give him the money. But I got to believe that he's going to want to go to a winner at this point and try and win something.
That is, I would hope so.
I can't imagine him going to another bad team just to get paid.
Yeah. Maybe Tampa. Miami.
I said he wants to win.
Oh, that's right. And I mentioned Tampa. Yeah, that's true. Hey, maybe Kansas City.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to circle the wagons and try and tried to get Mahomes some weapons.
Yep. If anybody needs receivers, it's definitely that.
Good
hey,
Lord.
guys, before we get out of here, if Joey Bosa, and we'll end the show with this.
No.
If Joey Bosa gets released, should we bring him on because he's the brother of Nicholas Bosa?
No. No, absolutely not.
He has had only 34 sacks in the last 3 years or less, I think. Yeah, the guy is.
He can't stay on the field.
Not. Besides, he's not the Bosa that he was when he first got drafted. So that's another thing. You can't, go by the name. You have to go by the performance.
I think whenever he's in there, it's not that he doesn't play well. He does play well.
But he's hurt.
Whenever he's on the field, he plays well. He just can't stay on the field. And the last thing the 49ers need to do coming off of an injury-riddled season is bring in another injury-riddled player. Like they need to focus like they did the last time this happened. They need to focus on bringing in guys that can stay healthy and don't have an injury history, and they need to get back to that and focusing on health and just bringing some guys that will be on the field.
Absolutely. All right. As we get out of here, Brandon, I'll start with you this time. Let people know what you got going on your channel, what they can look for, whether it's this week or sometime soon, or even just invite them to your channel. Let them know what's going on. Turn on your
You're
mic.
on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, we don't have anything going on as of now, but I will definitely keep you guys updated. If you guys can, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also hit all the following buttons on all the other
Hit
social media
somebody.
platforms, and we'll go from there. Noticed I did lose a couple people on YouTube. That's okay, but let's try to get back up to 700 again, and go from there. And yeah, we'll be back next week with Niner Boys.
All right, Pete, what you got going on, brother?
Niner boys. Like that's about it. Right now, like I haven't really been doing much on my channel. I've been kind of focusing on my actual job and kind of just been I've been studying. I've still been studying draft stuff and like kind of paying attention to what's going on. But I've been kind of just focusing on stuff outside of YouTube. So it's but I still will be on Niner Boys every Tuesday. And when I'm ready to get back on, like I will definitely let everybody know.
Heck yeah, correcto mundo. That's what I'm talking about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for each and every one of you for joining our podcast on Tuesday evenings, 2 in a row. Hopefully we can make it 3 in a row and we'll take off from there. Come and join us every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with myself, your host, Niner Sickness. We got Brandon and we got Pete. And I just want to thank once again each and every one of you in the chat. You guys are the true MVPs. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for hanging out with us. Write in the comments if you have any ideas, anything you feel that we should add to the show or do something about the show. We'll look at it and talk amongst us three. So if you have any ideas, feel free to leave that in the comments. We'll see you next Tuesday. And on Thursday, myself and Jess from East Coast Red and Gold Podcast, we go live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So come and hang out with us on Thursdays if you have nothing going on. Until then, we are out of here. Peace.
Bye.
Go Niners.
One more time.
Bye.